Okay, are you a dog owner? You want to hear this next story. Joining us on the line right now is Susan Valenti. Susan is a person who's very, very concerned about the fact that there's something going down with the feds and the Golden Gate National Recreation Area. And not only are dogs going to be required to be on leash at many of the beaches and parks where they didn't have to be on leash in the past, there are going to be some locations where dogs are banned altogether. Suzanne, thanks for joining us on KSFO. How are you?
Oh, I'm great. Hi, Brian, Ovi, and Sherry. Thanks for having me on.
Well,
Great to have you.
please tell us about what's happening here. This is a 2,400-page document, and a lot of it has to do with dogs in the national park.
Yes, it does. This is like a classic case of the federal government running roughshod over our rights. And even if you don't have a dog and you don't care about off-leash recreation, this should still make you mad, because today it's people with dogs, but tomorrow it could be you or any of your recreational interests, because this is like a land grab that is continuing.
You're exactly right. Now, has anyone seen all of this 2,400-page document yet?
Yes, we actually got copies of it about a week ago, and some people got the hard copy, which was 14.7 pounds.
Yes.
I got a disc, but and it's been posted on the GGNRA website now for less than a week, but it's out there.
Okay.
And we're trying to get through this document and see what's here, because the way Congress is working and the way this administration's people are working, there's things in there that they don't want you to find.
My guess is, and again, we have to remember, we're at ground zero for the environmentalist movement here in San Francisco and the Bay Area. This is ground zero. This is where so many of these organizations are headquartered. They want to try take off limits to the public as much land as possible. That's why we have these open space districts. My guess is that they see this Golden Gate National Recreation Area as land that eventually they would like to make off limits to as many people, let alone dogs, people as possible. Am I stretching here, or what are your thoughts?
No, you're right on the mark. In fact, since 1992, when Clinton came into office and put Babbitt in as our Secretary of Interior, this has already been happening. They have been perverting the Endangered Species Act, taking large chunks of land out of this recreation area and ripping out everything that they claim is quote-unquote non-native, putting in native plants, endangered species, and then roping us off of those areas, saying, well, now we have a habitat, you can't come in here. And they've done it particularly in areas where off-leash recreation has been allowed. So now, when they have this new management report, they say, well, we have this habitat in this restoration area here. You can't have off-leash recreation anymore because you're directly adjacent. And they just keep expanding these things. Another really important thing is, the dog people have been fighting them in court, and we usually win. But they want to try and circumvent the enabling legislation, which made this a recreation area so that we would have access, as you say, people, parks. Now they've been trying to designate it as a national park. And in fact, in 2008, Nancy Pelosi schemed with the GGNRA. She put forth a House Bill H.R. 6305, which just looked like a bill that was administrative rules for the Presidio. But buried in that bill was a section that tried to actually change this to Golden Gate National Park and specify that it should be managed as a national park, not a recreation area. So you're right. They want us out. They want this stand behind the ropes.
Yes, they do. They would prefer that there would be as much land as possible in the United States that's simply off limits to all people and given back to quote-unquote nature. Now, we're speaking with Dr. Suzanne Valenti. She's the spokesperson for the Ocean Beach Dog Owners Association or group. And Dr. Valenti, when we come back in just a moment, let's continue to talk about this Golden Gate National Recreation Area and how for many dog owners it's going to be completely off limits. We'll do that on KSFO.
You're listening to Brian Sussman on Hot Talk 560 KSFO.
Dr. Suzanne Valenti with us, spokesperson for Ocean Beach Dog Owners Group, and we're talking about this takeover of the Golden Gate National Recreation Area. It's a 2,400-page document that park officials say is going to keep dogs out, and I think at the end of the day, this is meant to keep people out, and that's what we're discussing. Okay, for the dog owner, Dr. Valente, this is a pretty serious thing because people enjoy running their dogs off-leash. I do it on a regular basis. There's a beach I go to. It's a beach. I'm just going to tell the folks right now, you're supposed to keep your dogs on leash. If I don't see the if I don't see the officials around,
no gendarme, the leash is off.
My dog runs because that's what it loves to do, and my dog is perfectly well behaved and is not a threat to anybody. He's not going to poop on the beach or even pee on the beach. It's a well-trained dog, but I'm being punished.
Yes, you are. And I want to just say one thing about your concept that they're trying to get people out of the park. At Ocean Beach, most of the studies they've done to justify at this point they want to ban dogs south of Stairwell 21. Most of the studies have been done by this Daphne Hatch. She's a biologist with the Park Service, and she had a quote in the Chronicle a couple of years ago that I think just says it all. She says, "Ocean Beach without the people is an incredible habitat, but people think of it as a sandbox or their backyard."
I've seen that quote. Yes.
It's like, hello, it is a sandbox. It is our backyard. That's what we've got.
Right.
You know, they seem to think the park is for them and, you know, their personal interests, not us. And, you know, this particular study, we're looking for, you know, what's their rationale for telling us dogs are banned here and there. And in Ocean Beach, I mean, they talk about these wildlife studies, but they eliminate the studies that don't support their position, and they only put in the studies that do support their position. And they have a lot of other things they bring up, like Officer Vic. How many times did you remind us in your traffic report that part of the Great Highway was closed due to the road collapse?
Oh, so often.
Well, did you know that dogs dig and undermine the dunes and cliffs at Ocean Beach? It isn't the heavy surf, the high tides. No, we have parts in there about dogs digging. This is a justification for...
Give me a break. This is incredible.
That's crazy.
Okay.
It's insane.
Dr. Valente, you've got everyone's attention here. How can people get more information? Because I know there are still many public hearings yet to go on this. How can people get more info and become a part of trying to stop all of this?
Well, we'd like them to come to the Ocean Beach Dog website. You can Google Ocean Beach Dog, one word or three words, and we'll come up first. One important thing I want to tell people about that we have found in this document is what I call the poison pill. And it looks as if they're going to allow us some off-leash recreation with their preferred alternative. But I found a part in this that has a compliance-based management strategy, and we talk about it on the website. It allows the GGNRA to take away off-leash recreation permanently if they document a certain level of non-compliance. And on Tuesday, a GGNRA spokesperson told a reporter I know that they intended to staff up and utilize surveillance cameras to document noncompliance.
Good night.
I passed this information on to some
surveillance cameras to see if you've got your dog on leash.
Yes. I passed this information
I guess I better obey the rules.
on, yes. And apparently the GGNRA got a few calls to confirm this. Now that since they know the news is leaked out, the GNRA is backpedaling, saying, oh, there's no mentions of cameras in the DEIS, this document. But they didn't say they weren't going to use camera surveillance either.
All right, go to just go online and do a search for Ocean Beach Dog, and you'll get the website.
Yes.
Okay, Dr. Valente, keep us updated on this, will you please?
Oh, we will, because we're learning more new things, and we want people to comment on this plan, but we're looking for other alternatives, like maybe pursuing pressure on the city of San Francisco or even our legislators to try and get a good outcome, because it doesn't look good right now.
Doctor, thanks for being with us on KSFO.
Thank you so much.